First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one, okay? Lamont, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo. So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy. And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
But take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. What is good? Welcome to Three Black Guys with the Mic, the podcast where politics meet pop culture and hip-hop debate style. Spud in the building along with my man Lamont G. Hayes and Maynard Scales. Tonight, we got a lot to talk about. We got to recap the debates. We got to talk about Donald Trump is home, ladies and gentlemen. Just pulled up to the White House, mask off and everything. Got to talk about that. Plus, we are 29 days away from the election, and we want to get thoughts about voting, where we are, get somewhat of an update of where we are in regards to this year's election. Plus, Cliff Hayes will be joining us, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about a lot of things, especially, going on in this political climate. Let's kick off the show, actually, with Cliff, who is, a good brother in Virginia with that beautiful wallpaper. No, I'm just kidding. Cliff is a delegate of the Virginia House. So, Cliff, how are you, man? Welcome to Three Black Guys with the Mic.
Yeah, we're doing beautiful here, and certainly happy to be able to come on with you brothers. Always have an opportunity to check you out, just excited to be on here.
So tell us, a little bit about, your background and how you got into politics.
Sure. I guess after college, I was blessed to be able to see the baseball scholarship and return from college where I've been at Oklahoma State. Decided to give back in the community in which I'm set up and to start coaching. And actually, the mayor of the city of Chesapeake was also my history professor in college. And so one day, there he was, and he asked what was I doing and invited me out beyond coaching, but to also be a part of an organization in the city that were pretty much was in the lives of Black men in the city in a way of mentoring as well as politics. And that organization was called Chesapeake Men for Progress. And so I went out to my first meeting and began to see and understand even better how important it is for us to give back in the community beyond just in one way. I certainly enjoyed coaching, but it was much more rewarding and refreshing to be around some of the community leaders that I had the opportunity to sit at the feet of, to learn all about not only our city, but our Commonwealth and the contributions that we have made in this country for over 401 years. And so I decided to run for city council, and that mayor was retiring. He volunteered to be my campaign manager. And in Chesapeake, we have at-large elections, which I think is a disgrace. So we ended up running at large, and with the help of the mayor, Commissioner of Revenue, the NAACP folks, Chesapeake Men for Progress, I was fortunate enough to get elected in a city at large of a population of 230,000 people because of the help of so many other people. Thought it not robbery to make sure that they passed the torch to somebody. And so I was elected at large, the highest vote getter that first time around, ran for re-election, highest vote getter again. And strangely enough, opportunity opened up in the area in which I grew up, which is South Norfolk. And from there, I ran for a delegate seat in that area in which not only I grew up in, but my parents, both my mother, my father, my in-laws, my mother-in-law, my wife, all grew up in that area. And so I ran for that seat and won, and I've been serving in the House of Delegates here in the Commonwealth since 2016.
Before I pass the ball, and that is about, you are the chairman of the Joint of Technology and Science. So one, let's talk about how crucial and I guess important is technology nowadays when it comes to voting, electing, and using technology to basically get out the message to voters. And then also, and I know you're not a doctor, but in regards to science, and there's this now debate about how important is science to COVID and who should we be listening to and does science really matter and so forth and so on. So how important is science when it comes to COVID-19? And then from a technology perspective, how crucial is technology playing a role in voting?
Certainly. Brother Spud, I'd start with your latter question and to say how important it is for us to pay a close attention to the science. I can't tell you how dreaded it is when an individual wants to make sure that they can know everything. I was always warned about anybody who says that they know everything about everything. And so these people who run around professing to be the experts on everything, i.e. Pennsylvania Avenue, it's disgraceful because when you're in a leadership role, you also happen to send signals to folks, not only your own people, but folks trying to find their way. And so when you're just guessing, you're actually inviting all these other people to begin guessing as well. And we have lost now over 200,000 lives in this country because of this awful virus. It's nothing to play with. It's nothing to be guessing about, but we ought to be following the science. Right now, I have an aunt who, after 11 weeks of being non-responsive, fortunately, has improved slightly to a place where she has finally awakened, if you will, on her own. She's breathing on her own. But I can tell you 10 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, 7 weeks, 5 weeks ago, our family was, on edge, to say the least. So it's nothing to play with, particularly when we're talking about Black folk being in a situation where we're getting, the rough side of this thing disproportionately. And so when you're talking about opening things up to us, we're saying it looks like we just don't matter. When you say, I want to open up my businesses, I want to open up my restaurants, I want to open up my hotels because you want to be able to make some money. But guess who's going to be waiting the tables? Guess who's going to be changing the linen? Guess who's going to be taking care of those hotels? And I might add, not full-time employees. These are folks on your books that you decide that you're going to make them part-time, working 39 hours a week, just so you don't have to pay them health care. And so they leave the restaurant and then they go to the second job at the hotel. And then they go to the third job, all to try to make it happen. And yet there's no empathy for those workers, those frontline workers, taking care of these economies that you want to make sure that you open back up. So we got to make sure that we listen to the science take our time, if you will, and make sure that we are safe. All people are safe.
So Cliff, let me ask you this question. And first, we got to address that wonderful last name that you have, because all the Hayes I know are pretty super cool. So kudos on that. Yes, sir. So we talk about, a lot of this, about the political climate on a national level. What I think is important about this conversation, I want you to speak about, us being involved, us being informed, and us being active in local politics, because a lot of these COVID things that you're talking about, a lot of the things that may happen in the schools, a lot of things that may happen in your police department, those are all local things. Even though we all may have this wonderful opinion, good, bad, or indifferent about our president, the reality is Donald Trump doesn't have as much juice inside the Commonwealth or inside of the county of Bergen or inside, just like today in New York City. Where the mayor, he shut part of, certain boroughs down because, it was an uptick in Brooklyn in certain Jewish communities. And that had nothing to do with the president. So I just want you to speak a little bit again, because I think when you started the conversation and as we move it along, how local government is so important. So just speak on that just a little bit.
Brother Lamont, I'm so happy that you speak on that, because we always need to make sure that we emphasize local politics, local governing in our community, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Not many of us will have, I don't know about you, but I didn't get to sit down and have dinner or run into President Obama in the grocery store. In fact, any and everything that's most important to us in our daily lives happen on the local level. Our schools, our streets, zoning ordinances, long-range plans, 30 and 50 years out, what's going to go where. All of those type of things end up happening on the local level, and it's important for us to get involved, be not only registered to vote, but to make sure that we vote. Educate yourself on the issues and make sure that you actually get out, turn people out. And I mentioned earlier how awful I thought it is that in Chesapeake, where I reside and grew up, we have at-large elections. But it's also travesty here because our local elections, city council and school board, are in the off months. And I think that that's a strategy to kind of try to, if you will, keep a stronghold on our people. In other words, our normal cycle for elections, the major elections, are in November. But our city council and school board elections are in May.
Whoa! You know I gotta go back to work on that.
Yeah. So what really, I think, in order to level things off, those local elections ought to be in November, when most citizens understand and know by nature something's going to be going on the first Tuesday in November. But for some reason, historically, we've seen abysmal turnouts for the local city council and school board races because they happen to be run in the spring, in May, when everybody's out taking their kids to soccer practices, dance practice, cheerleading, track, Little League baseball, and busy with all of those type of things. There's an election going on on the local level. Fortunately, though, now being at the state level, I've been a part of a great cadre of, as I would call them, freedom fighters in our Virginia Legislative Black Caucus. One of the things we've been able to do this past General Assembly session is to make voting easier in the Commonwealth of Virginia. One, we have made voting an actual holiday. So for the individuals who had it hard trying to make it to the polls after they get off from work, they're running, jumping out of the car, trying to run into the precinct before the precinct closed. Well, now in the Commonwealth, Election Day is a holiday. Incidentally, I think you'd be interested in knowing we actually swapped one of the Commonwealth's holidays with Election Day becoming a holiday. In the Commonwealth, this dreaded holiday that we had on a Friday before Martin Luther King's holiday was for 3 Confederate soldiers, Lee, Jackson, and King. They actually had a holiday set up to celebrate those Confederate generals here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so what we were able to do is, again, this is why voting matters, right? We got rid of that and made Election Day a holiday. Now, another thing we did to make voting easier is that we in Virginia, for the first time, have early voting. We now can get out and vote 45 days prior to the actual election day. So we've gone from having election day to election season. So you can begin voting as we started September the 18th, and now get out and encourage people to go to the polls leading up to November the 3rd. And then, of course, finally, in the way of voting, we've made registering to vote an opt-out versus an opt-in. And so whenever an individual goes to a public service place in the Commonwealth, i.e. Department of Motor Vehicles, to renew your driver's license or renew your tags or register your vehicle, get your driver's license, before you had to ask for a voter registration form, and then you could register there. What we've done this year is change the law to say that you have to opt out. So when you go there, automatically you will be registered to vote unless you say, please do not register me to vote.
So I've got one question, Maynard, because he uses term over 10 times, and I want to make sure that people that don't live in the area understand. When you use the term the Commonwealth, explain what does that mean different than someone who may be in Florida or in Detroit
Michigan.
or in Chicago, Michigan, or in Illinois. Is there something specific, like in terms of voting? Like, what does that mean? Or is that just an organizational thing? Or what does that mean?
This is an organization through time. That's just the way that it unfolded and developed as a commonwealth, a common interest in what we will do. We're a state just like the other states. Absolutely.
So a few things that we really didn't get to discuss in the beginning is, Cliff is a graduate of Norfolk State University, played baseball there, salute. And I'm sorry?
Behold,
the green and gold. Lamont, I'm going to need you to get up on that. We're going to get you one of these T-shirts, Lamont. He's a TSU grad.
No. And you know what? And before y'all get into that, I had an argument the other day with someone who said they went to the real TSU. And I was like, excuse me? Because some of my brothers and sisters from Texas Southern, they think that they the real TSU, but I'm the real TSU. But go ahead, man. You got it.
Amen. So there's some other things that you've been instrumental with since joining the state legislature, and some have to do with police and crime reform. Could you speak on that a little bit here for us?
Where do we start, right? We know that there's been open season on Black folk in this country, and so it has been my mission to do everything we can to try to change this oppressive system that we have in this country and that we have in Virginia. And in the way of police reform, I do not think it's right to have certain type of chokeholds. I do not think it's right for them to actually militarize the police force. I do not think it's right to have misconduct within police departments and then the Internal Affairs Department or the local Commonwealth's Attorney's Office gets to investigate that. Um, I mean, the list goes on and on. These no-knock warrants where they just bust up in the house in the middle of the night and folks are asleep, and people go to protect themselves, and then we end up with a Breonna Taylor situation where, folks are questioning whether or not the police had the right because he was fired upon. Well, if you come up in here at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can expect, I'm going to defend my home for sure.
As Bernie Mac would say, it's going to be some furniture moving around here.
And so,
yeah. I want to, Michael Sean, one of our, watchers, asked a very important question that I want you to touch on if you can. He said about social media and how to weed out misleading stories in regards to fake news and, all of these different, I guess algorithms and games and all these things that people are playing, and they're getting your data and they're using those things against you. Is there a way to actually know when you are getting, fake, social media posts, or when people are trying to, get you to vote, or, if you're getting hacked or whatever the case may be? How do you weed out the bad stories when it comes to politics?
Yeah, it's so difficult because what's happening is you're preparing yourself for that when you're not in that voting season. So when you're searching the web and you're going to certain sites, etc., and we don't take the time to read the fine print to say, okay, I want this service, and then they have like 10 pages of small text, and you just scroll down to the bottom, click the box, and say, I accept. Well, you may have actually agreed to sharing your data. They are data brokers who take this data and they literally sell it to other people, other organizations, other companies, based on your searching habits and based on the sites that you've gone to, et cetera, et cetera. And so that is a bad situation. But what's worse is that we get played because we actually, and I've seen situations where when I'm on Facebook, I'm looking and I'm going, I just got a friend request from Homeboy. I thought we was friends already, right? And then I look just to check and try to make sure that this is legit. And I'm looking at who are some of the mutual friends. Well, this fake account has already fooled some of my friends. They've accepted it, and it actually legitimizes it to the average person. And so they'll click and say, okay, I'm friends with this person again. When you pretty much know in your heart of hearts you were already friends. Well, once that begins to start, then the trolling starts to figure out who your friends are. They go out and reach out to your friends of your friends and so forth. All doing is just to prop themselves up in time for an election. It's a crazy situation to put yourself in. Not only that, I don't know, you can be in the profession and still get hoodwinked, if you will. I have the embarrassing experience back in, I think that was 2016. Well, one day I logged onto my computer and I had a message saying, listen, I've got access to your files on your computer, and you need to click right here and provide your credit card number in order to get your files back. So I just thought that was some joke or whatever. And so I tried to close that window, and the window wouldn't close. And sure enough, it was a ransomware attack that I had. And the only way out of that is for you to either pay your money, and which is not the thing that I advise you to do, because if you pay your money, pay your credit card, that doesn't take away the fact that they already have your information, and later on they could do it again. So I just had to suck it up. Look, fortunately, I had backups of everything that I had on that computer. I had a backup of it on an external drive. But how many people actually have those? You know, so it can be devastating. And then
the other day and got an external drive, you know, because I was like, you just don't know what will happen, you know, with your stuff, man. You know, you just got to keep that stuff backed up.
So, you know, we try to make sure, particularly for our first time guests, as often as possible, that we get this discussion on your hip hop / R&B / hood credibilities. So and I know your time is short. You've been with us for 25 minutes and you've been gracious with your time, but we're going to need to know, we're going to need to get it up off you. If you had to go and get your top 5 acts, groups, whatever soloists, MCs, give them, and then Lamont's going to tell you why you're wrong.
The Sugar Hill Gang.
Wait a minute, and just so we clear, I live in Inglewood, New Jersey. So if you know the history, you on the money already. Go ahead.
All right. Eric B. and Martin.
Okay.
Hard as hell.
I like a lot of Biggie.
Big. That's four. That's four that Lamont cannot argue with.
No, I just don't want him to say Little Uzi Vert. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, you know, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not.
An MC Light to throw a female in. All right, that's a hard 5, Lamont. Give him a grade, Lamont.
No, I'm saying he get an A+. He started off with Sugar Hill. You know what I'm saying? And again, if you know your history about that, that's Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? That's at the pizza shop. So we all good in the hood over here. We good.
Yo, so Delegate Cliff Hayes, my good friend, my man, my alumni mate, if you will. We want to thank you for your time. And you know, if there's one last thing you would leave people with about this upcoming election, what would it be, sir?
Yo, man, we just have to do any and everything we can to fight fascism, fight oppression. And so if you have your choices, and my choice is going to be going with the sister from the HBCU in Howard. My choice is going to be with a president that has already, you're going to interview somebody for a job. I want to know what they've already done. Back in 2015, I think it was, Biden dropped 20 mil at Norfolk State University for cybersecurity for HBCUs. So
say that one more time. He did what? Say it one more time.
$20 million for the HBCUs back then for cybersecurity training and certifications through Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T, Howard, Hampton, were all a part of that partnership. So it's not about listening to what somebody's promising that they're going to try to do, as opposed to the substantive things that can really bring about change for our people in this country. I think it was T.S. Eliot that said that we're distracted, but we're distracted by distraction from distraction. In other words, all of these fluffy symbolism type things, removing statues. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm not saying it's not a good symbol to snatch them down. I'm not saying it's not important to paint Black Lives Matter on the roadway, if you will. But we can't get distracted by those things. They're good to have. But the substantive change with the policies and the laws that have the ability to change the lives positively for everyday people, the dry, long soul people. That's what we have to make sure that we're fighting for. And I can tell you, this cat up in there now isn't for that. I mean, it's been proven. So we got to do what we got to do to hold some folks' feet to the fire once we get rid of the one that we have. But making sure that we take care of our people at the polls on election day is a priority. When it comes to access to quality, affordable health care, how can we be in the situation that we're in now with one of the most wealthiest countries in the world, and then we fighting to have basic, decent health care for our people? That's awful that someone would even have a platform to try to take that away from folks. And then people so blinded, like mice following behind a Pied Piper, many of them are the ones that are going to be out back with no coverage. So we got to do all we can to make sure that we vote in this election and turn out in record numbers for the Biden-Harris ticket.
Amen. Thank you, Delegate Hayes. We truly appreciate you, man.
Salute.
I appreciate
The
that.
election is over.
Absolutely.
We'll circle back, baby boy. Good to see you.
All right, take care, sir.
Have a good one, man. So, I want to kind of segue real quick, if I can, into a couple of things. I got a lot of, we got to get to a lot of things, and I know we got like 29 minutes. So I want to talk about, real quick first, because we kind of just, segueing from voting to voting. Because Lamont has been saying this to us for, how long have we been doing this podcast? 3 years?
Yep, they trying to kill us.
No, not that one.
Lamont
has been saying this, since we have started this podcast, and he's asked this question about voting since we have been doing this podcast. Lamont, what is that question about voting? He doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lamont has been asking, since we have been doing this podcast, why do we stand in the line to go and vote? Why don't we vote absentee?
Oh, no question. Yeah. I'm sorry. I got a lot of
that.
questions. I mean, I said a lot of things. No, you're right.
That.
Actually,
Lamont has been asking, why don't we vote absentee since we've been on this podcast?
Yeah.
And so I'm saying all that to say, and I'm not saying that, standing in line is not good. And, if you want to go and cast your ballot and get the sticker and put the sticker and, get your Instagram selfie and all that other stuff, that's cool. It's not a problem. That's good. But, so my wife and I voted this morning. We did absentee. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, damn, why have I not done this before? Why have I been standing in the line voting? And now, I'm saying all that to say, I'm pretty educated when I go to the polls already. So I'm not really tripping. But the reason why I think it is important for most people to vote absentee is because it gives you the opportunity to be able to research who you are voting for. And I think that what happens is that a lot of times, especially when it comes to because we were talking to, Delegate Hayes, and, we've been talking a lot about, voting on a local level. And a lot of times we have no idea who these local people are. We're not paying attention who these judges are, who these Supreme Court judges are, who these, Board of Trustees are, who, what these millages do, what these proposals are all about. And so when you're at the ballot and when you're at the poll, you're just pretty much selecting who you think is the most popular person, or a name recognition that you saw when you walked into the actual election poll place and you saw Frederick Hayes, and you were like, oh shoot, I just saw Frederick Hayes outside on a billboard or on a little lawn sign. I'm gonna vote for him. And you don't know if this man is a white supremacist or if he don't know nothing. Because this is how people vote. they vote blindly. They don't vote from an educational perspective. And I think that I'm advocating absentee ballots. I'm not saying don't go to the polls, because there's a lot of people who are educated going to the polls. They already know what they're doing. But like Jeffrey is saying, especially when it comes to judges, all I'm saying, and I'm passing to you, Maynard, because I know you want to expand, especially when it comes to judges. You got to do some research on who these judges are, what they are about, what they stand for, and then more importantly, are these the people who you're voting for? Do they line up with your values and the things that you want to see happen? If not, don't vote for nobody. If you don't know them, don't vote for nobody. You don't have to vote for nobody in that category. I was telling my wife this morning, I was like, yo, you vote for somebody, Wayne County Community College person, you don't know these people. If you're not going to do the research on them, just put you don't want to vote for nobody in that category. That's okay. It's all right. You ain't got to give somebody a vote that you don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to express that if you get the opportunity, I don't know if you can do it this year, but next time when it comes to voting, absentee is extremely important. Let me say this about what Jeffrey's saying, name recognition. I remember what's the lady's name who used to be on the city council? Maynard, and I think both of y'all know, from Motown.
Mary Wells.
Yeah,
Mary Wells. Yeah, Mary Wells.
So I sat in a city council meeting. Were you there, Maynard? It was me, Skip. So it was us from the radio station. It was Mary Wells there, and she said clearly, the reason why I am a city council person is because people know my name. They know Mary Wells. They know name recognition. They don't know what I stand for. They don't know what my history is. All they know is I got a song and I'm on Motown and I used to answer the phones here and now I'm on the city council. So name recognition is extremely important. Maynard, I passed the ball. Sorry.
Well, I think the first thing I would probably say, particularly to kind of answer Jeff's question about judges and why we should be looking into judges, Martha Reeves, not Mary Wells.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. You're right.
Thank you, Jeff. Good look. Is that we can check a judge's record, and we can look at everybody who does anything in the government leaves a fingerprint, leaves some breadcrumbs. If they voted for this or they voted for that, how did you feel about that particular issue? If they were a senator or a delegate, a representative, congressman, what have you, if it was a governor, a mayor, etc. And the same goes for judges. Often judges can make rulings on critical decisions, and you can kind of get a feel for what that person is going to do when they have an opportunity to be a part of governing. Now, the more radical the ruling, the more what they call activist a judge may be. And those judges who kind of just play it, to the vest, you probably aren't going to get a big feel from them, but they probably are the safer choices because they're just looking at the law and they're interpreting the law and applying the law to the cases that they're seeing. So it is a little bit more complicated when you try to find out what a judge is doing than it is with your congressperson. Not all cities and states have these elections of judges. I remember when I moved to Illinois and was living in Chicago, the ballot was like, similar to what you were saying, Spud, the ballot was like 40 people long. It was like 12 judges and 5 council people. I was like, oh my God, it was the biggest ballot I've ever seen. As far as, and that was the Bush-Gore election year. And there were a lot of things on the ballot. But I think you make a very good point, particularly in places like Michigan, or all states and cities do occasionally have this, where there are ballot measures or ballot issues where they write a question. Do we want, in Hampton Roads right now, there's a discussion of a casino, and they very well may wind up making a ballot at some point in the future. Do we want a casino? Do we not want a casino? And sometimes it's called electioneering, where somebody could write the question in such a way that you have no earthly idea what they're truly asking. And it's a whole lot of but for, therewith, blah, 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 gobbledygook. And you say yes, but what you may find out later is, man, I should have answered that no, because I didn't like that. So, yeah, you're right.
It's kind of like back in the day where, they used to make our grandmothers and grandfathers answer questions about going to vote. Like,
right.
How big is the air?
how many light bulbs?
How high is the sky? Like, what?
Right. So it is that is an advantage of absentee or early voting, that you get to get a look at the ballot and see. But your registrar's office in your city, your county, your state should also be able to provide you an opportunity to look at on their website quite clearly any of the initiatives that are on the ballot, as well as other names on the ballot. If you go there in advance, you can find that information out, and that can be helpful. But I'm not against early voting. I think that's great. And I know that Lamont wants
and again, I'm not, if you're an educated voter, then go to the polls. I mean, I'm not mad at it at all. But I also think that, for those people who are not as educated, I think that it is important to take time with the ballot. You get a couple of days to be able to sit with it, to be able to decide, to be able to look this person up, to be able to research and be able to say, oh, okay, I see what such and such is doing. Oh, I see what their history are. Like Maynard, like you said, oh, I see what they voted on in the past. I see what their rulings were. I see what type of, judge they used to be, what they're, looking for now. So I think that if you have time to be able to do that, that will help with, being able to make better decisions rather than going into the polling booth and you're like, sorry about that, about going into the polling booth and you like, oh my God, it's 20 people behind me. I just got to fill in such and such and such and such. And
mm-hmm.
Oh, who's Dick Scott? Oh, Dick Scott sounds like a good name. Let me just put his name in there.
Well,
Lamont, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know Lamont wants to get in, and I'm sorry, but when you said that if somebody's behind you, first of all, I want to say this to everybody, particularly Karen. Don't come to my polling place trying to rush me out of there. Don't come to my polling place asking me no damn question about my ID. Don't come talk to me. I'm telling y'all, if you don't live and you're not a part of my polling place, if you live, I live in Norfolk. I live in a certain district, and it's pretty much an all-black precinct. There is some gentrification going on. We do have people trying to help make this a more diverse community, but we know who everybody is. If you come here and you from Virginia Beach or Suffolk somewhere or whatever, and you come to my polling place talking about you want to challenge my vote, don't let nobody push you out of the poll. Lamont, man, go ahead, break it down on that.
I forgot I said that, but I ain't really had too much, man. I think about all of the people in my community that can recite all the LeBron James statistics, and they know how many shots Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 46 years ago. And I think it's just about, what do you really care about? And I say this all the time, and you all don't want to hear this, but although everyone has the right to vote, there's a lot of people out here that shouldn't be voting because actually they're messing up more than...
Stop saying that, Lamont.
No, here's the deal, Maynard. Here's the deal, Maynard. Just like we have these discussions all the time, you have your opinion, I have mine, okay? Is that I know people that will spend more time researching a gym shoe when it comes out than understanding what's on their ballot. That's just a reality. In our community, there are more people that are focused on the NBA finals and who got corona in the bubble and what kind of sheets they sleeping on than them understanding who's on their local school board. Am I wrong?
I think we...
No, am I wrong? Yes or no?
You're wrong.
Go ahead. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, so... Again, this whole thing about you're right again. I forgot I said that, but see, we have been sold this experience, just like the BET experience. You know how you can go to LA and you get this, oh, we're gonna go vote. Our ancestors died, and all this other kind of silliness, and they get you all emotional. We got to get Trump out, but at the same time, even like what I don't want to say alderman because that's where we do it this way, but Mr. Hayes, we just spoke to, the reality of a lot of the things that go on, it's local, bro. It's like people don't do the local research. It's really up to to the governors and the mayors and things of those nature. So if we really want to, dig into it, We just got a research problem because, again, we know how many rings and who's the best and who could bounce the ball the most and if Cam Newton done got the virus and who's going to be the backup quarterback. Oh, we got that down.
But, Lamont, I would say this. There is as much we put this responsibility on our community to be these super ultra educated people on this because we aren't, you shouldn't. But there are people in other communities that didn't vote for Barack Obama for one reason, because he was black. Like he'll say, and I know you said this, you voted for the black guy because you were like,
Twice.
I got that. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that because there was somebody, because there's somebody who voted against the black guy simply because he's black. Or there's somebody who might not like basketball, but they watch NASCAR and they know every daggone driver and every car and everybody who's on that team, and they don't know who their local school board person is. So it's not that we do it and we're the only ones that do it. There's lots of people who have no idea. I know lots of people who, as my friends and I call the tall people, who will be like, I think that Donald Trump, I'm going to vote for him twice. But wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean? I'm going to vote for him again in 2024. No, that's not how that works. You mean to tell me I can't vote for him 3 times? No, there's lots of people who don't know lots of things, and it don't have to always just be us.
Can I ask a question?
So no, hold on. So Maynard, what game are we in the finals? Because I swear on my mama and my grandmother that I don't know.
It's the fourth
game. What game are we in the finals?
It's 4th game.
My point exactly. Go ahead.
Hold on. Are you saying I don't know what I'm doing? I ain't supposed to know?
No, I'm just saying you definitely know that because I know I don't know.
Right, and I also know that Donald Trump.
Pick me.
Yeah, go ahead, Spud. I'm done.
Tag, you in, Spud.
Why do you call them tall people?
Yeah, that was mad racist, bro.
That was mad racist. That was mad racist.
That was mad racist. But he thinks that's okay because.
Yo, listen, everybody, thank you so very much for watching. We are changing the name of this show to Mad Racism. That is the new name of this show because from Lamont and Maynard, you guys know how to pull out some mad racism. Listen, listen, I don't know if you guys have saw, there's a couple of things. I'm a visual learner. I love to read, but I'm also a visual learner. Documentaries is how I'm a fiend. All In, if you have not seen that, that is an amazing documentary about voting, about the history of voting, about, just voting in general, about voter suppression, about gerrymandering, all of those things that if you want to get a crash course lesson in voting, and if your vote matters and the whole 9 yards, All In is a great documentary. Also, what's the Vox series? They have a voting series on Netflix as well. Watch that. And we talked about social media and all that other stuff. Listen, if you'd ever watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, watch that tonight.
Deep.
That is a must watch.
Deep.
You will rethink social media after you watch The Social Dilemma. Watch that on Netflix tonight as soon as you get the chance, because you will be like, you know what, I probably need to get rid of some of these friends. You know what, maybe I don't even need a social media account at all with what is going on. You talk about being an algorithm, then, that's a little bit different. Okay, I got 2 more things to get to, and then I'm passing the ball. Okay. Maynard, you have a master's degree, is that correct?
I do.
Okay. Lamont, you have a bachelor's degree, is that correct?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay. You both went to universities, is that accurate?
Historically Black college, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
You went to class, did the actual homework, got credits.
Are we under oath?
Paid your tuition to get a degree. Is that right?
Are we under oath?
You still owe money right now, Maynard, for your education.
That's
Is that
true.
accurate?
That's true.
Okay. So it is safe to say that both of you enrolled in college, got accepted into the college, went to the college, went to the classes, wrote the papers, ask for a new grade, discuss with your professors, went to the campus parties, paid your tuition again, went from semester to semester to semester.
Come on, man, get
and
to
you
it.
got a degree. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Lamont, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can somebody on this podcast explain to me how in the world does Waka Flocka Flame have an honorary degree? How in the world does Waka Flocka have an honorary degree? An honorary degree is an academic degree for which a university has waived all its usual requirements, such as attendance, course credits, dissertation, and passing of comprehension examination. How does Waka Flocka get an honorary degree and y'all had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for your degree?
I have an answer, but I'm gonna let Mater go.
Now,
You can have it, Mater.
Cool when they gave it to Diddy. I was like, okay, they gave Diddy an honorary degree. I understand. It is what it is. No problem. Now they passing out honorary degrees like they cotton candy. And he got an honorary degree in humanitarianism and philanthropy. What?
Well, for me, it wasn't in God's plan for me to get an honorary degree. That God didn't have that for me. It wasn't my plan. It wasn't in God's plan.
That has nothing to do with God. Don't put God in that.
What in the world is happening? Okay, we got that.
Where did he get his honorary degree from again?
I have no idea where it's from. Look at allhiphop.com. He's on there.
Dub said
right. Shout out to my man E-Dub. He is on the podcast with us. All right, listen, he's gonna love this conversation because this is my last one and I'm done. And we can move on to what we're supposed to talk about. I'm a man. I love women. Okay? I love women more than anything in the world. Women are beautiful. Black women are beautiful. I am really, really curious to know, how is it that we have gotten, as men, because I'm putting this on us, that we as men have gotten to the point to where we have accepted for our women to manipulate their bodies in a way to impress who we are or who they are. I'm very confused on all these blow up booties. Why are we having women in these blow up booties? There's a fake booty on every corner nowadays. And I'm looking at the long hair and I'm looking at the fake booties and the fake boobs and the tummy tucks and the what's the T, Lamont? The tummy tea. Tummy tees and all of the Instagram pictures or the, with the bud and all this other stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dog, are we as men that hard up that we are that women have to go so far to botch their bodies in order for us to be attracted to them? Like, are we no longer into the natural game? What happened to our women to make them think that this is what they have to do and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their bodies done in order to impress us as men?
Lamont?
Action.
You want that, man, or you want me to have it?
No, it's all your fault. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think I hear you, but I think we just got to be real careful when we use the word all. I mean, I think, you're right. There's a certain segment of people who have, and you know what? We could take it to people who have to spend $400 on the belt to make them feel better. They may have to go buy a charger at 26.99% for 78 months. You know what I mean? I think there's some sort of deeper issue that's going on. And, I want to shout out to Royce, because Royce said something the other day about DJ Vlad, because there's no secret that I'm a Vlad hater, okay? I don't like Vlad. But something that Royce said, he said, I totally understand that Vlad is someone who resells our trauma to the black community. When he said that, I was like, you know what? He's right. Because if you notice, there's nothing that Vlad says anything good when it comes to our community. It's always bad. It's always some sort of issue. So then when you say, like you said, with the mops and the hair, and I call them mops, the weave that they just slap on there. And sometimes you say to yourself, like, what's that about? Like, why do you have to show? And I get it, because I'm looking at some of the booties too. Yep, because my wife might see this on Instagram. I told Hen House years ago that Instagram is a new strip club. So you kind of go on there and you ain't got to pay the $20 and you can see. And then you look at them and you say, it's really something wrong with you if you're a parent and you know that your child is going to see you bending over, busting it open. You know what I mean?
Or you're a parent and you see your daughter.
And you see your daughter
over busting it open.
But Spud, it's some other trauma that's going on, dog. This is way deeper than what we see on the surface. So I think at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on in that house. We don't know if the uncle might have touched him or the daddy might have this, or there's some sort of deficiency with the mama. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going on with people, man. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it alone. The one thing about my mother-in-law used to always say about me, and I get it. She used to always say, Lamont, you real happy. You jolly. And I had to learn, man, there's a lot of people out here ain't happy, dog. And they trying to figure out how to get certain things out because they're fed so much negativity on a daily basis, my guy, that's the way that they lashing out. They looking for attention. They want somebody to love them on some real shit. You know what I mean? So that's just my little 2 cents on it. Because some of it, you're right. It's a little traumatic.
I mean, and the sad part about it is like all the girls, the vixens, I guess is what they all look the same.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's the same makeup.
Here's the thing, though, and this goes back because we're talking about right now. You're talking about booty or breasts or these super, I would say, the hyper physical parts of sexual anatomy that we're discussing here. But there's been a problem that is bigger than that and older than that. We have accepted that our black women from the days when Madam C.J. Walker did her thing, that our women are not supposed to wear their hair natural, that they should have a relaxer, that our women have had to change and be something different than who they are, and we have decided that this other form of what people call beauty is more important than our own beauty. So that's a challenge, and that's not just affecting our women, that's affecting our men as well. Like you said, $400 Gucci belts, or buying a big car, or getting spinning rims for. I mean, they don't make the vehicle do anything extra. They just don't, right? But so from the perm to fake eyelashes to, I remember it seemed like it was like from 87 to 94, 95, like every female I met had blue contacts, and those aren't your eyes. That's not what, and so what I want is a black woman. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm all for that. I love black women. I have a time or two dated Hispanic women. But I've never really, and the Hispanic women I've dated have been like Dominican, kind of like maybe black Puerto Rican or what have you. But I've never dated really away from my race of people. That doesn't mean that I'm better or worse than anyone. People can find who they love, and they can fall in love with a white person, a Korean person, whoever, and I'm fine with that. I just think that we have to love ourselves. We have to believe that we are beautiful, that we are amazing, that we are great. When I look up and I see, Michelle Obama, or I say, man, that's a beautiful black woman, period. Not the fact that she was the first lady or whatever. She's a beautiful woman, and she's
a couple times she was out of pocket, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I saw her the other day though. She was hugged up with the homie. I said, okay, Michelle, I see you. I just didn't like that time she had on them long boots that came over her knees.
I couldn't find the mute button for.
She looked like she was getting ready to go up for the finale or something. I was like, that's not hot.
My man Jeff said he wanted Thelma Evans, and I'm fine with that. She was a good-looking woman, and they're beautiful. Lupita is a gorgeous black woman, and we have to celebrate that.
Be careful, man. Everybody don't like pork and beans. You know what I'm saying?
Pork and beans.
Pork and
Some
beans.
people like lima beans, dog. So just say she's beautiful to you.
She's beautiful.
And some women might think they need a relaxer. Everybody don't need to be walking around with the natural joint.
Listen, black women, you're beautiful the way you came. And I want you all to just, whatever it is that you want to do, please enjoy yourself at it, but don't hate yourself. If any of this comes from a place of hate, please work on your self-esteem. If you want somebody to tell you that you're beautiful, holla at me. My number is 7. Never mind.
All right, where are we at with time? Are we done?
I mean, we got a permission slip, man. Go ahead and go.
Okay, good.
We got permission.
Let's get to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, let's do that now. Can we do that now?
It was finally get to the show. Sorry about that. Our interview kind of went a little bit longer than what we thought. Listen, we are 29 days away from the election. Lamont, predictions: 4 more years, or is Joe and Kamala gonna be in the White House?
Here's what I'm gonna say, man. If Joe and Kamala messed this up, because they just got an attaboy. You feel what I'm saying? The boy had to go to the hospital. But there is still a chance they can muck this up. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro.
Is the hospital thing is this a hoax? Is this a conspiracy theory?
No. He's too proud. He's a 70-plus-year-old white man. He's too proud. No. Dude was almost on his deathbed, probably. That's the only reason he went. Because something had to happen for him to go there.
Because the doctors are not really being upfront.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They got to keep low.
I don't know about you, but Maynard, has anytime you went to the hospital, did you get in your car and ride around the hospital and wave around to the people? Was like, yo, I appreciate y'all.
Like the show notes said, that was like his O.J. Simpson moment. Like he in the back of the Bronco, like that. But see, here's the thing, and we have to really recognize this. So, and this is important, that the man is, he's good at this or good at that or whatever the case may be. But he was wrong on the hurricanes. Remember when he drew the hurricane? You just changed it on the map. He was wrong about that. He was wrong about the virus. He was wrong about trade deficits. He was wrong about a lot of things. What we have to recognize is that you can't be president of the United States just for the good times. The virus is every year we're going to get hit by a hurricane. Some years it's going to be worse, some years it's going to be better. Every year we're going to experience something. Wildfires, every year, that's going to happen. He's been wrong about all these things, and he's wrong about taking victory laps with the Secret Service, because now here's the thing. Those Secret Service men have to quarantine for 14 days. How many rides around the city can you take before you start running out of Secret Service men?
Lamont, I'll pick you in the back.
See, Maynard, he always goes on these tangents, and everything he said is right. But the one thing that you're missing...
Why is it a tangent if it's right?
Because he's not understanding that when they wrote the Constitution, and they wrote this thing, and there's a little phrase in there called "We the People." You remember that part in there, Maynard?
Not in the Constitution, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's a declaration.
The Declaration.
It might be in the Constitution. I'm just trying to throw you off because I can't stand it when you do this.
But the little part there about "We the People," that don't include us. That never included us. So your opinion and what you're saying about what he did wrong, X, Y, and Z, because he was part of the "We the People," him and that pale 70-year-old skin, my guy.
It is.
So remember, the rules they're different. You saw when they put the thing up when they complained about the taxes. Who paid the most taxes out of the last 6 presidents?
Barack. Right. But now think about this. My man he was at a tax-supported military hospital. Shouldn't they just be like, shouldn't they treat him like my man from Barbershop?
Point. You don't understand English, Maynard. Didn't I just explain to you?
What's your tax?
It don't work the same for him.
This is the carry that you get. You get you pay $1,500. Okay, you get this guy. He ain't finished school yet, but that's what you get. That's what your tax money paid for.
Lamont.
Yes. Since he don't want to listen to me, I'm not going to listen to him.
Who's a bigger racist, in your opinion?
The 65-year-old black man at the barbershop.
Joe Biden or
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we get to choose. I'm sorry.
It's multiple choices.
Is Joe Biden a bigger racist than Donald Trump, you think?
I don't think Joe Biden is a racist. If we want to go by the textbook definition and include actions, I think you got to put the actions in there too. You know what I mean? I think, and again, Donald Trump's racism is generational, and it's a fact. We can go to the law books and read that. You know what I mean? So I've said before that this is something that he's taught. So I'm kind of ain't mad at Donald of the way that he acts. I mean, I feel like there's an NBC crew that's like behind the scenes helping write some of this stuff that we got going on. You know what I'm saying? It's a TV show. It's actually quite hilarious.
Where did that question come from, Spud?
I was listening to the radio today, and they had a commentator on, and they were talking about Joe Biden's history of racism and disrespecting black people, and being proud about siding with segregationist and crime bill and all of the things that he said about black people, and it made me think like, wow, I thought about that.
But Spud, I keep saying this too. He's 70, so the probability.
Now, do I think that Joe Biden's a racist? No. I think that he's a bigger racist than Donald Trump? Absolutely not. I just me, I always have to be controversial.
Yeah, but Joe Biden's grandparents probably owned slaves, bro. That's just it's possible. It's possible. You do the math, man.
I don't know if mathematically it's possible, but I understand where you're coming from. And
it's possible.
I don't think mathematically it's possible.
Listen, if he's 70, let's give his mama another 70 on top of that, right? So I'm at 140.
Okay.
And then put like another 60 or 70 on top of that. It's possible.
Great, maybe possible. So let me say this. There's some things, and I'm going to go somewhere a little bit different with it, but, there was a statement that when they were in the debates and Kamala Harris came for Joe that first time on a discussion of busing. And
about busing?
That really put Joe in a corner. And a lot of people...
About busing?
Huh?
This is about the busing?
Yes. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, he was against busing." In theory, we all should be against busing. Now, we understand that busing may have moved some people from this community to that community.
Here we go. Every time we start talking about boxing.
So anyhow, the challenge is, if you know that the school on 10th Street is failing and the school on 20th Street is succeeding, then just build a new school on 10th Street that is identical to the school on 20th Street. Don't say, well, we're going to take you out of this school and put you in this other school. You know what success looks like. Just duplicate it. That's the answer. But instead of investing in black communities, they said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to divide up 200 black kids into groups of 20 or something or 30 and send them to a whole bunch of different schools all over the city and bus them there so that we don't have to build resources in that community.
So where the kids are being bused to, whose community is that?
Oh, they're diversifying, if you will, us into white communities.
Okay. Oh, so I'm going to ask you because you did the political thing of not answering the question, which is good. That's what you do.
But they did.
So
I said that.
Where did they bust the black kid to? What community? Where did he get bused to?
They got bused to white schools.
Okay, which was in a white community, correct?
Yeah, but what they did is they didn't say, "Here's the best school. Let's send these 200 black kids there." They said, Here are the best 10 schools. Let's divide these 200 black kids up into groups of 10, and therefore none of us have to take on 200 black kids. That's one. Two, if you don't build better schools in these black communities, the property values of these black communities never grow. The main thing that people enjoy when they make a purchase, they always say location, location, location. And that location has a lot to do with services, particularly schools. So if you don't have good schools, then you don't have property value that will grow. So build better schools in black communities.
No,
Duplicate
that goes against
success.
That's not what did he say earlier about urban planning? That's not a part of the urban plan, my guy.
It's not in God's plan for us.
Not God. Let's not put God in it. Okay. The person who's creating the urban plan. And urban doesn't mean black. It means the urban plan.
So should there be a second debate? Do you want to see a second debate, Maynard?
No.
Lamont?
Yeah, I need some comedy. This is all entertainment.
It was some comedy.
This is comedy.
Like the worst, funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Listen, if we're going to have I'm
sorry, let me just say this, Lamont, I'm done. Remember when Pig Vomit came in and said about Howard Stern, the reason why they listen to Howard Stern is because, I don't remember what they said, because they hate him or whatever. But no, because they see what, they want to see what he's going to say next. And all the people that hated Howard Stern still listen because they still want to see what he was going to say next. Yeah. That's how this whole presidency is. It's horrible, but you just want to see what he's going to say next. Because I watched the news on Sunday all day. Mm-hmm. Just because I wanted to see if there was another update.
Well, we wanted to see if the coroner was coming in on the quiet. We don't want to say that.
I mean, I don't want to say that. But
we were trying to figure out if the ventilator was getting rolled in.
It's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing.
I said this white man cannot die because that means the comedy show is over. No, it'd been over. No, it'd been over.
I honestly think that this is the beginning. Donald Trump is going to come back out now and say, I've beat the virus. We got to attack this thing head on.
Yes.
We're going to do it as a country. I know how this, thing works. And we're going to build. This is the new Make America Great Again. Mm-hmm. And some of us are not going to vote absentee. And some of us are not going to show up to the polls. Mm-hmm. And those good old boys and Proud Boys are going to be waiting and willing at the polls.
Hey, man, can we talk about the Proud Boys for a second?
Go ahead, Lamont. They standing by.
I laugh when I did my little research on the Proud Boys and I kept always saying to myself, and we all have certain relationships with people who may come from what is sometimes known as the street. And I kept saying, I ain't never heard no street people talk about the Proud Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they were talking about how he got these militia and all that. And I said to myself, it's some other stuff that's part of the entertainment. Because maybe they got a couple of thousand Proud Boys across the country. Let's just say they have 10. That's 10 across the country. We ain't even got to start yelling names of people that we know that come from the streets. If that would be eaten up in 5 minutes. So again, it's just another example. This is all entertainment. This is not about government. This is just us being entertained.
But that is the problem, though.
Yes, it's clicks and views.
That is the problem. The problem is that we are living in an entertainment world with serious issues happening, right? These are serious things that's going on in the world. Serious people are really dying. And the man today said, look, don't let this coronavirus scare you. Don't let this, some coronavirus get you down. I mean, 210,000 people have lost their lives. Hundreds of thousands of people, family has been messed up because of this virus. But you got some people out here in the world that are like, look, Donald Trump is a winner. He is a bona fide winner. Mm-hmm. They're going to go and read his book, Win, and they're going to be like, yo, hail Trump, hail Trump. And it's going to be 4 more years. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, I had some people on my team that keep telling me that, Trump's going to win. all I know is right now, my man that keeps saying, well, there's a silent majority that's going to sneak up and they're going to vote and they're going to take this election. Well, one of the things that we are seeing is the 65 plus white American actually, Biden has exploited that and that's taken off. Seniors have decided they're going to vote for Joe Biden now. It was like he was up by like 4 and now he's up by like 29 with that particular demographic. He continues to grow his lead in other places. Now, people will say that Hillary was ahead, and she was, but she wasn't ahead in the way that Joe is currently ahead. And
that's how he gonna get y'all asses. We can't be worried about that, man.
Right, and that's fine. Vote, yes. Vote like your life depends on it because it does.
They're going to cheat, man. That's the other issue. We are not.
Now, listen. If they cheat, if cheating has occurred, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what to do about that. If we do know there's certain things that and our people have been diligent on. They took the mailboxes. Like, damn, you took cheating to a whole new level. We just going to take the mailboxes out. Right. That's a whole other thing. They're going to try to challenge people's votes. They're going to. Pennsylvania, y'all got a thing up there called naked ballots, which means when they send a ballot to you in the mail, there's a security envelope that you're supposed to send it back to in. It's just as you have your regular envelope and then the second envelope that the ballot's supposed to be in, and all that goes in. If your ballot is not in the security envelope or what they call a naked ballot, they're going to throw it out. They're just going to throw it out.
Yeah, so, that's what I got in Jersey, and this will scare me to death. It says, if your signature doesn't match what's on the signature card, there's a possibility they can throw that out too. Because they say it don't match it, it's fraud.
Right. So we got to be diligent. We got to vote. We have to, put pressure on those people who have anything to do with our vote. The registrars, the secretaries of state, et cetera, et cetera. And we have to be there and vote early and be at the polling place to protect our own people. We don't need somebody from another community to come into our neighborhoods and try to govern how we do the things that we do. We don't go out, like I said, I live in Norfolk. I'm not driving out to Virginia Beach watching Virginia Beach residents and telling them how to vote. They don't need to show up down here. I'm smart enough and capable enough that I can do this, and so are so many other people. So we just got to vote. That's all we got to do.
Say it, Lamont.
We need to get some more guns. We need to get some bullets, get some water, some sardines, and some tuna. So listen, man, historically,
everybody needs to go back to their millennial list.
Yeah.
1999 millennial list.
Yeah, man. Because
everything that was on that list, you need to buy November 1st.
Right. So instead of buying a Hellcat, you need to get you some tuna fish and some water and put it in the basement.
And some paper towels and toilet paper.
Yeah.
Because it's going down.
It's going down, brother. No matter how yeah.
Do we have anything else? I'm sorry. I know we were totally all over the place today. Maynard, do you have anything else?
Vote.
Take your booty to the poll. Take your booty to the poll.
Oh, look at who it is. It's Alex Dupree.
Hello, Angelina. Check out Alex's podcast as well. I think it's on Wednesdays. They're on Facebook Live. Her and my man Trey the Chocolate Drop.
Can we get them on, Spud?
Yeah, I'll ask her.
Okay. Cool.
Alex, would you like to be on? We gotta get my man Jeff on. Jeff is, and we gotta get E-Dub on too as well. Next week we're going to try to, get you guys on to we're going to try to make it to where you guys can actually chime in on the conversation. We're kind of working that technical difficulty out. So that way, we can send you a link in the comments and you guys can actually be a part of the show. Thank you guys for, checking out this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. Yes, go and vote. Yes, go and vote. Listen, Social Dilemma. Go watch that on Netflix. Go watch All In tonight.
Power is trash.
Power is trash. I'm sorry. Power is trash.
Clifford gets the W. Come on, my guy. Let my man get that.
He does.
Yeah.
No.
But I turn from that. It's soft porn. You know what I mean? The whole show is soft porn. But I'm waiting on Mary to be tooted up in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Mary doesn't need to come back. Somebody needs to accidentally write Mary off in a positive way. But no more Mary. It's not even, Power's trash. I'm sorry. I did do my best, but after watching last night, I was like, no. I don't even want to see it come back in December. Now, the Jigabobos scared the hell out of me last night.
Yo, dog. That scared me to death.
Listen, I almost slept with the light on.
Yo, dog. Yo, dog.
Listen, the Jigabobos.
Yo.
My skin was crawling last night. So, I just want to let y'all know, watch out for the Jigabobos.
As of now, 17 from the Trump administration have been caught COVID. 17.
It don't matter. 85 of them get it.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
I was going to say that to you earlier. I respect the stats and the polls, but they're not playing by that game.
That's right.
2 + 2 don't equal 4 with these
not
guys.
For them.
We'll see what happens. It's like if a team is up by like 24 points at halftime and you just decide, okay, great, no problem, take the ball, we win. What?
No.
I'm a Detroit Lions fan, man. No, that's not how it works.
What's my man's name? When I watch Tom Brady, and I don't know my man's name, but when I watch what's Tom Brady's team?
Buccaneers?
Patriots. When I watched the Patriots in Atlanta, and we all knew that it was Atlanta, and we were like, yo, this Super Bowl's over. This is Atlanta. And then in the last 40 seconds of the game, it was New England Patriots. That's kind of how this is. And this is kind of like you telling me there's a poll. This is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to place my bet on Tom Brady, in Vegas at a 20-1 odds to be able to win the Super Bowl this year. And the game ain't even started. We don't know who's going to win yet.
Okay.
Listen, I voted for Kamala Harris. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I voted for Kamala Harris. So I put her down already. I'm in the Kamala Harris box. So I'm on the same team as you. But we will see. According to the president, we might not even we might not even know who the president is on November 4th.
No, it's not. No. I'm gonna see y'all like maybe December 12th.
Okay. December 12th, we'll have a new president.
It has to be certified. It's supposed to be certified by December 14th.
Yeah, that's the number, right? I thought it was 15, but that might be right. That's why I said 12.
It's the 14th.
But it was somewhere in December, like you said, because if it's not ratified, then what's the play?
Probably had to go to court, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? We probably
waiting on. They waiting on that.
We probably need to get with the homegirl L Joy to come and talk Electoral College or somebody on that level to come just break that whole thing down, because I'm gonna probably mess around and lie about it. So you don't want that.
Well, at least we know you're a liar. Thank you guys so very much for sticking with us to this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. I know we were all over the place today. We truly appreciate it. Share this episode with your friends. Let them know that we are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Every Monday, 7 p.m. If you are on Facebook with us right now, share this right now. Just hit the share button. Boom! Hit it. Hit the thumbs up button as well. Hit the share button so that way your friends can be our friends.
We can be friends.
We can be friends.
We can go get a...
Also, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Have a fantastic night. Be safe and go vote. Go tell somebody else to vote. Peace out.